So we spoke about nefesh, ruach, neshama, right? Let's summarize again to make sure that we're all on the same page. We have the nefesh, which is basically the energy of the physical body. Basically, okay? Goes through the blood of the body. That's one thing. Sensations of the physical body. We have the ruach, which is the feelings, the emotions, and also intermediary between the nefesh and the neshama. And we have the neshama, which is basically the ability to think. Thoughts are related to the neshama. It's not that the thought is the neshama, but the thoughts are coming from the neshama, the result of neshama. And when we are connecting to the thoughts, so we are connecting in a way to our neshama. And when we go to the level above thought, meaning to observe, to be conscious on our thoughts, so then we connect to the level that is above the neshama, which is called chaya, or neshama la neshama, the neshama of the neshama, and that is basically the starting point of the Jewish meditation that we practice. Okay? Now, how a person can know where he's holding within his spiritual growth? So, it says in the Arizal, in Netzach, that a person that it's very easy for him to make a sin, it means that generally it is holding in the nefesh, tikkun of his nefesh. Okay, that's why it says in the Torah many times, nefesh ki techta. Okay, a nefesh chotet. The nefesh is related to sin because it's so connected to the physical body. So very easily a person is using the energy of the physical body to do wrong things. Okay, that's one thing. When a person is getting to the level of ruach, to work on the tikkun of his ruach, which can take few lifetimes. It can be very easy, it can be very quick, but usually it takes few lifetimes to go from one level to another. We're talking about big steps. Okay? So to go to the level of ruach, then a person is already away from sinning. He doesn't want to sin. He knows that it's not. It might be that it will happen, that he will stumble into sin, but generally is really going away from sinning, and that's not what he wants to do. That's not his really desires, and he's more lofty than the person that is only in nefesh, that have very strong lust and desires. When a person gets to the level of neshama, then he's already very far from sinning. It's like, it doesn't mean that it will never happen, but it's like for him it's just like, it doesn't make sense to go after lust and desires. Like he knows better. He knows that what he wants is to connect to Hashem. What he wants is to learn Torah. If something happened once in a blue moon, so he's very quickly is going back to his trail, doing tshuva, going back to like getting himself together. That's basically the structure. Okay. Now, like I said many times, each one of them contains all of them. Each one of the parts contains all of the parts within it. So even if when a person is only in the nefesh, or in the ruach, whatever it is, still it doesn't mean that he doesn't have neshama, he doesn't have chaya, yechidah, the higher levels of his being, but it won't be the same. Okay, a person that all of his spiritual being is in the level of nefesh, so his nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechidah is within the nefesh, so then he will be very close to sin. Someone that did, like we said. Good. Now, another principle that we spoke about in the previous classes, that generally the organs, that those three, nefesh, ruach, neshama, dwells within the person. Okay? So, I'm not talking specifically about the physical organ, as the organ as a concept. Okay? So we know that the nefesh is connected to the liver, the ruach is connected to the heart, and the neshama is connected to the brain. Okay? Now, why do I say that it's not necessarily about the physical organ? Because, for example, someone that, God forbid, have something wrong with his liver, and they have to like take his liver out and implant a liver of someone else. It doesn't mean that he will change his nefesh now. Okay? It's not like physical thing that is rest within the physical organ. There is a connection. The physical are representing the spiritual. So now, if he's replacing the liver, for example, so he will have a different representation of his nefesh, but his nefesh will stay his nefesh. Okay. Now, we know from the Zohar that there is a very, very strong connection between the lungs and the heart. Okay. Also physically, they are like very, very close one to another, but specifically in the spiritual sense of it. So it says in the Zohar that the heart is the element of fire. So the warmth of the body comes from the heart, and it says there in the Zohar that if the lungs will not cool down the heat of the heart would have burned the body. Okay? The heat of the heart would have burned the body. What gives the ability for the body to cool down is by the lungs. Okay? Now, this is something that is very, very important for us. Why is that? Because a big part of what we do when we are starting the practice of meditation is to breathe. Right? Breathing is very, very essential, definitely, generally, for everybody, even if you're not meditating, right? You don't want to stop breathing. But specifically, when we're coming to meditate, so we want to breathe deeply, to be more conscious of our breathing. And it is known in the world that by concentrating and meditating with conscious breathing, it's a big gateway to get to spiritual elevation. Right? So now, with these introductions that we just explained, so we can understand this principle much better, to get a deeper understanding of why is it so important, the breathing. What is the big thing about conscious breathing? Why every time we're starting the meditation, we're starting with closing our eyes and breathing? That's the first step, or the second step within the technique of the meditation. Okay? So the answer is again that we want to connect the three levels, right? Between the nefesh, get to the ruach, to get to the neshama, and then we try to go higher to continue the same pathway. So how do we do that? So the nefesh, basically, we have the connection with our nefesh. I'm not saying that it's something that we have to take for granted. It's also something that we have to be conscious about. But the energy of the physical body, it's something that, many places, many so-called spiritual ways, most of what they speak is about the energy, right? In the world, I'm sure that you heard about many people that are doing healing and see auras and do all kinds of things. See aura around the person. Yeah, and so on, all of those different things. Whatever, read auras, like do all kinds of treatments to heal the person, to whatever that. But all of that is the level of the nefesh. All of that is the energy, which is the level of the nefesh. So I'm saying, like, to be connected to that level is not such a big level. It's not such a big deal, because that's the first level, right? But to get the connection that is deeper connection to the ruach and the neshama, that's already a different story. It's almost not so many people are able to get to those levels. So now, after we understand that the ruach, which is the next level up after the nefesh, is within the heart, and that are the emotions that we have, everybody knows that the emotions are within the heart, right? So to be in touch with our emotions, that's one thing. That it's most of the people, they are not so in touch with their emotions, and if they are, so they are not controlling their emotions. Their emotion controls them, usually. So to be in a way that we are connected to our emotions, but we are not controlled by our emotions, it's something that there's not so many people that are in that level. And then when we are practicing the conscious breathing, we go back to this quote that I just said from the Zohar, okay? That the breathing, the lungs, cools down the heat of the heart, okay? So in other words, when we want to get the connection with our emotions and to get the control over our emotions, it is done by conscious breathing, okay? And you see that naturally, when a person, for example, is very angry and he wants to control himself, not to do something wrong, normally what the person does is breathing, right? Take a deep breath, right? That's a natural response, right? Because we know that, even if we're not conscious that we know that, but we know that. Now, like everything else, when we're doing the same thing consciously, it can be much more effective, right? Same thing that you do, when you do it consciously, you can be much more effective. So you don't have to be like in a point that you are angry and you have to control your temper to remember to breathe, right? It's a good thing to do anyhow. So whenever we want to connect to our feelings and to elevate ourselves above our feelings, that we will control those emotions and not to let the emotions to control us. Like we said, that there's a statement of Chazal that the Reshaim Hem Birshut Lambam, the wicked people, the emotions, their heart is controlling them, and the Tzadikim Libam Birshutam, they are controlling their heart. Okay? Maybe I'll say a little story about it. There was many years ago I heard this story. I don't know which yeshiva it was, but it was a yeshiva that one of the boys of the yeshiva, I'm not sure if he passed away or one of his relatives passed away, but there was something there that was like the whole yeshiva, the whole community was like shocked. And the same night there was a wedding of one of the other boys. So they didn't know what to do. Like they are like sitting and crying, and they know that in the evening they can't cancel the wedding. When everything is set up, they already spend the money. They won't be able to do it again, right? But they have to do it. So the Rosh Shiva, it was not here. It was, I don't know which yeshiva it was. But the Rosh Shiva told them that this is the test now. This is the test to see are you controlling your emotions, and or your emotions controls you. If you are the one that controls your emotions, you are supposed to know how to deal with your emotions and to cry whenever it is the right time to cry, and to be full of joy whenever it is the right time to be full of joy. Okay? It sounds, for some people, it sounds like what do you mean, like robots? When you joy, you have joy. When you're sad, you have sadness. It's not in our control, but the answer is it is in our control. Okay? It's supposed to be in our hands to control. Someone that is not able to control it, it means that is in a lower level, lower spiritual level. Someone that is working on his spiritual development is supposed to be able to control his emotions and to know what is the right time for everything. There is right time for everything. There is the right time for love, for hate, for peace, for war, for sadness, for joy. Right? Like Shlomo Melech says in Mishle. This is the Jewish approach. So again, our default is our physical dimension. We want to elevate, we're getting first level to connect with the energy of the physical dimension, which is the nefesh. Right? Strength of the physical is in the nefesh. We want to elevate one level upwards, we want to connect with our emotions. We want to elevate above our emotions and to be able to control our emotions. Okay? And we want to get to a higher level to connect to our thoughts and to observe and to look over on our thoughts from a higher place that is above thought. That's what we want to do. And the big tool for that is the breathing. But with the breathing, we're making this connection between the nefesh and the neshama. Right? Like we said, that the nefesh and the neshama are connected by the ruach, and the ruach is within the heart. And the way to control the heart is with the lungs, with the breathing. So as we breathe, this is the way to elevate through those steps. Okay? Now, the result of all of that, when we get to the peak of the meditation, the highest point that we can elevate ourselves to, is to reach a new understanding, a new level of mindset. Okay? In Hebrew it's called mochin. To receive abundance, to receive the spiritual abundance, it is called mochin, to receive the mochin. What is mochin? Chochma, Bina, Daat. They translate it as wisdom, understanding and knowledge. Okay? When a person receives this inspiration, this abundance to his being, and he brings it down to connect the upper level of his being back to the emotions, so he will be able to have more positive emotions, and also when he brings it down to the level of nefesh, he will have more energy within his physical body. So anyone that wants to have more energy to do good things, Bezrat Hashem, only good things, right? We don't want to do. We don't want energy to do anything that is not good. So then we have to know how to practice this whole process and to master it, and that will be the basic technique. That on top of that we can imply many issues in our life. Okay, whatever it is that the person have to deal with. For example, just let's take an example. Okay, let's say a person that you have a big family, children, everybody have their needs. You have to spend every day such and such amounts of money, and he doesn't have income. His income is like very minimalistic, that he cannot cover his expenses, and his debts gets bigger and bigger, and he doesn't see like any way out of that. So obviously a situation like that is very disturbing, right? It's very hard to concentrate in learning and praying and doing anything that this person wants to do when he has a situation like that in his life, right? So first of all, I don't wish that for anyone, and Bezrat Hashem everybody will have all what they need physical, emotional, and spiritual in a very, very good and pleasant and easy way.
Amen.
But when we do have to deal with something like that, that is very disturbing. So there's many ways how to do it, but one of the ways is what I just said now. Okay? So to do this meditation that we just spoke about, that we did practice of it a few times, we can do it again. So, and then in the way down, after the elevation, when we're coming down from the thought into the emotions, we want to translate the abundance that we received in the meditation, to translate that for our own benefit, for whatever it is that we need. For example, to find comfort and faith and inner strength to deal with whatever it is that we need to deal with, that it won't be so disturbing. Okay, it doesn't mean that we'll see the money in bank account tomorrow. Maybe it will, B'ezrat Hashem. But even without that, we can still have the inspiration and the strength, the inner strength, to deal with whatever it is that we have to deal with. Okay? And Baruch Hashem, Hashem is giving us very interesting life, that we have to deal with many things through our life. So it's very, very important to know how to take a step back, and instead of confronting everything when we feel that we don't have the strength for it, to take a few moments for ourselves and to find the resources that will help us to deal with whatever it is that we have to deal with. Okay? So let's take 5 minutes to practice the meditation again, and I'll make it in a way that anyone can use the energy that will be generated by the meditation to get the strength to deal with whatever it is that he have to deal with. Okay? So find a comfortable position for you to sit. Breathe deeply. Release the air. Breathe freely. Feel your physical body. Feel the sensations, physical sensations of the body. Try to feel the energy that you have. Gives you the potential strength to do whatever it is that you want to do. And with the breathing, try to connect to your emotions. Without judging them, just observe as an outsider what are the emotions that are active within you. Try to see if there's something that you want to use this opportunity to refer. If there's some negative emotions that you want to get rid of. Maybe you feel lack of a certain positive emotion that you want to achieve. And with the breathing, try to elevate above the emotions to the thoughts. Be an outside observer and look within your brain. What are the thoughts that are running around in your brain? Give yourself a few breathings to be the observer of your thoughts. As you breathe, think about elevating even higher. Reaching out to the root of your being, the source of your being. Try to concentrate in that highest point of your being. And when you're there, speak to Hashem. You can have a few words of praise. And then ask Hashem to help you with whatever it is that you feel that you need support, that you need extra help. Try to see and imagine how Hashem is listening to you. Here's what you had to say, what you're asking for. How it gives you spiritual abundance, which is the inspiration that you need. With your breathing, bring it down. Into the thoughts. With your breathing, bring it down to the emotions. Let it be observed. Let yourself feel feeling of being satisfied and content by the new revelation of your being. Continue to breathe. Bring it down to the energy of the physical body. Let it sink inside. Let it get to all the organs of the body, all the edges, ends. Try to feel the difference within the sensations of the physical body. Slowly get the movement back. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Don't forget to smile, to have the appreciation for this opportunity. I hope that you will do good things with this technique and with this energy that you achieved. B'ezrat Hashem. Is there any comments, observations, questions, complaints?
A little padding on the bench here.
Here you go.
So you say to look at your feelings and look at your thoughts, like pull away from them. But I feel like you should feel them first. I feel like you should think about your feelings and just either imagine or actually try and feel them to get to know them before you can see them from above. Otherwise you don't know what you're looking at. Maybe there's
Again.
So when you say look at your feelings from outside, look at them from I get it. You're in the shama, you're outside of the realm of feelings, right? Or at least normal feelings that we know. But I think before you get to that point, you gotta think yourself about these feelings and feel them. Like
you need time to experience the feelings and the emotions.
Yeah, like if you're saying see your feelings and feel them, like try and whatever feeling is coming, you should feel it, and then maybe let it go and then look at it from above. But first you gotta feel your feeling and then feel your thoughts. The problem with feeling with thinking your thoughts is that you can go very far with that, but with a guide,
it's also an experience.
With a guide that tells you, okay, now that you're thinking your thoughts, then put them in a little box and then look at them from above. Now see them as something outside of you. But to just grab them and put them out, I think I think the concept is that, right? Your neshama, that these feelings and thoughts are not your neshama. They are something external to it that are used by the neshama. But
Right.
so when you're thinking that you're seeing your thoughts, you're thinking. So that goes back in the box. When you're feeling, oh, this is nice, then that goes into this is nice box. You're feeling.
I'm not sure if that's that's the main point, but what it seems to me that basically you're saying that you need much more time to go through this process, like that the way I'm doing it goes too fast.
I'm thinking there's extra methods to really be able to pull away